Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel Mrs Maths. Today we're going to be looking at expanding brackets. So expanding double brackets. There are very many ways in which you can expand double brackets, and I'm going to go through three methods that you might be familiar with in school. The first method is called FOIL. Now FOIL basically stands for first, outer, inner, and last. So this basically ensures that all your brackets are going to be expanded using these rules. So first means I'm going to times the first one in this bracket with the first one in this bracket. So this is going to give me x times x. Outer means I'm going to times the outer one, so I'm going to get the outside x and multiply it with the outside 7. So this is going to give me x times 7. Inner is going to imply I'm going to multiply my two inside terms, so 5 with x, which gives me 5 times x. And then last implies I multiply my two last terms, so 5 with 7, which gives me 5 times 7. Now all I need to do, well, we've already done this one, so I'm going to just put that line back there. Now all I need to do is simplify each term. So x times x gives me x squared, x times 7 gives me 7x, and then 5 times x gives me 5x. 5 times 7 gives me 35. And we can simplify this if we write it as 1. So this can be written as x squared plus 7x plus 5x plus 35. Now collecting your like terms, we can collect the 7x and the 5x as they both contain an x in, which simplifies down to x squared plus 12x plus 35. Okay, so FOIL is our first method that we can use when we're expanding brackets. There are, however, other techniques as well. So I'm going to go through another method. So the second method that we can use is using a grid to multiply this out. So I'm going to draw a grid like this. And I'm going to put a little kiss in the top left-hand corner. Then I'm going to write down each of my terms. So here I've got x plus 5 from my first bracket, and then here I've got x plus 7 from my second bracket. Now multiply each term to fill out the grid. So x times x gives me x squared. 5 times x gives me plus 5x. X times plus 7 gives me, 7x, oops. And I'm going to put a plus there because I need that plus sign from the 7x. And then 5 times 7 gives me plus 35. Now the reason I keep in my plus signs is because when I'm going on to simplify it, I know what operation I need to perform. So here I'm going to write this out. So my terms in my 4 squares over here gives me x squared plus 5x plus 7x plus 35, which simplifies down to x squared plus 12x plus 35. Okay, so you can see I've got the same answer as I did here, but just using a different method. There is also one last method I will show you, which is sort of a new method that's been used in schools. So this method is multiplying every term in this bracket with every term in that bracket. So I'm going to say x, the first term from this bracket, is multiplied with everything in that bracket. So I'm going to use a bracket to imply it's multiplied by everything in that bracket. Then I'm going to break this term up over here. So now I've got plus 5 in this bracket, so plus 5. And I'm going to multiply that with everything in that bracket. So x plus 7 again. Then all we need to do is multiply each term out. So x times x gives me x squared. X times plus 7 gives me plus 7x. Okay, so you just want working with two single brackets over here. 5 times x gives me 5x. And then 5 times 7 gives me 35. Which again simplifies down to, as above, x squared plus 12x plus 35. Okay, so you can pause the video right here if you want to jot any of them down. I am going to move on to some more examples. So let's have a look at this one. Now this one has a minus sign over here. So just like I said in the last slide, it's really important to incorporate your plus signs whenever you're working anything out there and there. In this side, you'll see that the reason is because some of them can be minus and it can affect your answer. So use any method you like. I will go through all three of them, so just skip the video if you want a preferred method. So the first one was FOIL. First, outer, inner and last. So first term gives me x times x. Then I also have outer, which is minus 3 times x. Those are my outer terms. Then I'm going to have inner, which is 6 times x. Then I'm going to have my last term, which is 6 times minus 3. So really important to jot down the minuses here. And then just simplify each term. So x times x gives me x squared. Minus 3 times x gives me minus 3x. 6 times x gives me 6x. And then 6 times minus 3 gives me minus 18. Now if I was to write all this down, then I'm going to get x squared minus 3x plus 6x minus 18. Now we have like terms in the middle, so minus 3x plus 6x, so don't forget your number line here. It's not 3 plus 6, which gives me 9, because this is a minus 3. So I'm going to have x squared minus 3 plus 6 gives me plus 3x minus 18. Okay, so next method that we used was the grid method. So let's go and draw a grid over here. And then in the corner I'm going to put a little kiss because we love expanding brackets. And I'm going to write down each term. So x times x gives me x squared. 6 times x gives me plus 6x. X times minus 3 gives me minus 3x. And 6 times minus 3 gives me minus 18. Which again can be written as x squared plus 6x minus 3x minus 18, which simplifies to x squared plus 3x minus 18. So our last method was breaking up the bracket and multiplying it with everything in the second bracket. So I'm going to break this bracket up over here. So the first term here is x, so this x needs to be multiplied with everything in the second bracket, which is x minus 3. And then I'm going to break up the plus 6 and multiply it with everything in the right hand bracket, which is again x minus 3. So multiplying each term out, x times x gives me x squared. X times minus 3 gives me minus 3x. Just drawing that line there. 6 times x gives me plus 6x, so not forgetting the sign in front of the plus 6 here. And then 6 times minus 3 gives me minus 18. Simplifying that down as before gives me x squared plus 3x minus 18. Okay, so pause the video here if you'd like to jot any of this down. I am going to move on. And we're going to have a look at expanding this bracket. So this bracket is important, and it's also different because it contains a coefficient. A coefficient is a number in front of the algebraic letter. So we call 4 the coefficient of x and 5 the coefficient of x in this bracket. That's just some terminology you may or may not be familiar with, but it is something that's important to know. So let's use FOIL to do this first. So we've got first, which is 4 times 5x, which gives me, let's write down the working, 4x times 5x. Then I've got outer, which is minus 2 times, oh sorry, it's 4x times minus 8, because these are my outer terms. Okay, minus 2 is not outer. So I've got 4x times minus 8. I've then got my inner terms, so the I, so minus 2 times 5x, minus 2 times 5x. I should actually get rid of there are no minuses there, that's just me implying each term what it stands for, so there was no minuses there. And then the last is minus 2 times minus 8. So 4x times 5x is going to give me 20x squared. Four x times minus 8 gives me minus 32x. Minus 2 times 5x gives me minus 10x. And then finally, minus 2 times minus 8 gives me plus 16, as a minus and a minus make a positive. So if I was to write all this down in one term, I'm going to have 20x squared minus 32x minus 10x plus 16. Apologies, it's just coming off the page there. So I can simplify the middle two terms again, as they both contain an x. So I've got 20x squared. Now what is minus 32 minus 10? So you have to go backwards on the number line. And taking away 10 from 32, minus 32 already, is going to give me minus 42x plus 16. So you can forward if you're happy with that next method, but I am going to go through the other two. So we've got a little grid. I'm going to put a little kiss in the middle, in the end, sorry. Then we've got 4x minus 2 and 5x minus 8. 4x times 5x is going to give me 20x squared. Minus 2 times 5x gives me minus 10x. 4x times minus 8 gives me minus 32x. Minus 2 times minus 8 gives me plus 16. Minus and a minus. So again, jotting all that down is going to give me 20x squared minus 10x minus 32x plus 16. And that simplifies down to 20x squared minus 42x plus 16. Okay, now our last and final method is breaking up the bracket from the first one and multiplying it by everything in the second one. So I have 4x and I'm going to multiply that whole thing by 5x minus 8. Then I have minus 2 and I'm going to multiply that by, again, 5x minus 8. Okay, so you're just breaking up the bracket. So 4x times 5x gives me 20x squared. 4x times minus 8 gives me minus 32x. Minus 2 times 5 gives me minus 10x. And then minus 2 times minus 8 gives me plus 16. which simplifies down to 20x squared minus 42x plus 16. Okay, so we've seen some different examples with negatives, positives and coefficients. We're going to go through what happens when you have different letters this time. So I will use FOIL to do this example, and if you prefer the other two methods, then you can have a go at doing it with the other two. So first, 2x times y gives me 2x times y. Outer 2x times minus 7 gives me 2x times minus 7. Inner 4 times y. And last 4 times minus 7. So let's work each one out. So all you need to do is be careful with this one over here. The rest we can pretty much do, but just be careful with this. So 2x times y, we just collect together as a whole. So it's just going to give me 2xy. I can't simplify it any further because these are different letters. So then 2x times minus 7. So minus 7 times 2 gives me minus 14, and then I can put the x back. 4 times y gives me 4y. And 4 times minus 7 gives me minus 28. So if I collect all these up, we just need to simplify our like terms. So we've got 2xy minus 14x plus 4y minus 28. Now, do we have anything the same here? No, we actually don't, because we've got 2xy, which is the same term. Then we have minus 14x, and there is nothing else with just an x. There is nothing else with just a y. There is nothing else with x and y together. So actually, this would be our final answer. Okay, so I'm going to give you a second to have a go at this one over here. So if you want to just pause the video, it's a good way to just practice what we've learnt. And then I will show you the final answer in a moment. So the final answer we should get by doing 2t squared plus 3t minus 8t minus 12. Then we can simplify our middle terms. So we get 2t squared plus 3 minus 8 is going to give me minus 5t minus 12. That would be our final answer. Okay, so well done if you managed to get that. So have a go at this one. Pause the video now so you can have a practice. Okay, so we're going to get 20x squared minus 8x plus 10x minus 4. So we can simplify again the middle two terms. So we get 20x squared minus 8 plus 10. So we're going forward on the number line. So we get plus 2x minus 4. And that would be our final answer. So have a practice at this one. So you can pause the video again here and I will go through it. So we're going to get 5cy minus y minus 35c plus 7. So don't forget minus 1 times minus 7 is going to give me a positive as they're both negative. So is there anything the same here? Well, this has a cy, nothing else has a c and a y together. This has a y, nothing else has a y together. And this has a c, nothing else has just a c together. So actually, this is our final answer. Okay? So you can have 10 minutes here to just practice these questions. If you'd like to have a go at these on a piece of paper, you can pause the video now, and then what I'll do is I will show the final answers afterwards. So pause the video and have a practice at these. Okay, the first one is going to give me p squared plus 3p plus 4p, which gives me 7p plus 12. This one is going to give me q squared minus 9q minus 10q plus 90. And this can simplify down to q squared minus 19q plus 90. Here we're going to get cy plus 5y plus 7c plus 35. Then here we've got 2x squared plus 3x plus 10x plus 15, which simplifies down to 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. Then here we're going to have 5ex. You could have written xe. That's something to note as well with these letter ones. We normally put the smaller letter first, so alphabetically e comes before x. So we'll write it first. However, you wouldn't be marked down if you wrote xe in an exam. Minus 15x plus 4e minus 12. Okay, and nothing is the same here, so it just stays like that. Then this one we have 45 plus 9g minus 5e minus eg, and nothing is the same here, so that stays as that. Then here we have h squared plus h minus 11h minus 11, which simplifies down to h squared minus 10h minus 11. Now this one was a bit more tricky because you had multiple terms, but that's okay. You could have still used method 2 or 3 to complete this. FOIL unfortunately would not work here, but that's okay. One of the other methods can be applied. So all we're doing is multiplying everything in our first bracket with everything in our second bracket. So here we've got 3y times p, 3y times 2d, and 3y times minus 5. Then we have minus 4 times p, minus 4 times 2d, and minus 4 times minus 5. So I'm going to just write down what this would be collectively. So we have 3yp plus 6yd, so I'm working with the top lines first, minus 15y. Then the bottom ones, I'm going to have minus 4p, minus 8d, plus, because minus 4 times minus 5 is going to give me a plus 20. Okay, so let's look at anything that is the same. Well, this is a yp, this is a yd, there's nothing else that contains either yp or yd. This is a y, nothing else containing just y on its own. This is a p, nothing else containing a p or a d, so therefore that would be the simplified term. Okay, so we are going to end there. If you like this video, then please give me a thumbs up, or if you want to see any future videos that are similar to this, then write down in the comments what you want to see. I will be replying to the comments if anyone was unsure of anything, so please do let me know, and I'll see you soon, guys. Thank you.